but we can run the town as a certain board.
Okay, well, for the Manchester Community School Board of Trustee meeting, we can start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call Mr. Pierce, Mr. Finner, here. Mr. Orr, Preston, Mr. Tobias, Brian, Mr. Escoffitt here, and I'm here. We've got any emergency additions?
No additions or deletions.
Hearing of patrons. Either one of you want to talk? Oh, you're the presentation, right?
So I'm Gordon Miller from high school, and I teach AP biology. In end of February, and so I decided rather than me talking about it, I'm going to make a quick little promo video. I also made it to send to parents if you want to do some of the things we do down there, potential dates, costs, all that kind of stuff. So I thought that would just be easier. I might talk over it a little bit, but and then feel free to ask me any questions. So, if you want to go ahead, So this is going to have videos of the past trips and some of the kids. So it'll kind of go through your info, numbers, so I'm looking at every February again, so I'll kind of tentative with plane tickets and stuff like that. We do fly from Indy to Fort Lauderdale really early, get on the plane, and we get minivans, we drive down to the Everglades first and then over to Key Largo. We camp in tents at the Everglades in Key Largo. So yes, some of the kids, we do sleep in tents. Yes, there are real bathrooms and real showers. I don't want water all the time. And no snakes and alligators, no money. So, been going many years. The cost is $1,000, and that includes everything. And so we try to work with the parents with a payment plan. And I also have community volunteers who have volunteered to sponsor kids too, whatever need, which is awesome. So this is one of the things we do in Everglades. We go kayaking on a pond called 9 Mile Pond. This was 2 years ago. It was a big group. It was like 26 kids. So I mean, it's great. I love tapping. So many. Then we do a slog hike. So we actually put on tennis shoes, long pants, and we go out into a cypress dome. We did see a gator last year, but no problem. Just went on its way. So that was the first time. We go to Key Biscayne Nature Center and do a tour, and there are a couple different options to do. You may have an indoor area, so have a natural. Then we relocate to the Florida Keys. We partnered with Marine Lab 2 years ago and did this. We did kind of a lab part of it, so they were investigating invertebrates from the lagoons. And then we also do a snorkeling excursion with them, which is really cool. And we do go and partner with dolphin rehabilitation and rescue centers, where you can also do a dolphin swim, which is obviously really cool. So, one thing we don't want to miss, we also get to interact with them and learn about animal behavior, training, and stuff like that. So, and that's amongst other things. It kind of shifts depending on time and availability of stuff. So last year we went to Turtle Hospital in Maritime Keys, so you can see that there. We did some artwork with Anna Bernworth, who's one of our chaperones in the Everglades. We did shark tagging, went to a wildlife rescue center. So anyways, those are kind of all the different things. We pack it in, we started looking at 6 days, so first day of fly in early, get set up, and the last day kind of a travel day as well. So anyways, and I think I have a lot of interested kids, so you know, don't let them know. Okay.
How many years have you, I know it's been a while, but how many years have you done this trip?
So back when David Bernworth was teaching, he kind of started this trip. He was like when, not to call it that,
But graduated for 25 years.
yeah, so it would have been in, I think, like 90, maybe 97 or something, he started going. And then pandemic hit, so of course, you know, all trips were suspended, and then he kind of moved into a different career path. So this will be the third year that I've gone back with kids. So I've gone probably 17 times or so, and my husband Dino usually chaperones, so I was like, and he's been chaperoning as well too. So it's nice, we're really familiar with the area and have connections with the organizations that we partner with and stuff like that. So yeah. Any other questions? Or it's a great experience for the kids, not only to, you know, learn about the ecology and have great experiences, but also just kind of spend time with their peers and bond and make memories and all that stuff. So.
Let me do, can I get a motion to approve? The trip. And a second, Mr. Penrod. Now we can kind of, like, thank you for taking the extra effort to give these kids this opportunity. I love it down there. I used to go down there fishing in the glades every year, and kind of ruined it in Turner River, but off the little Indian thing.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool. It's also cool because a lot of kids have been to Florida, like on spring break and stuff, but very few have been like either to the Everglades or down in the Keys, which is very different. If you've ever been like, the spring break areas. So, and it's cool to see kids, you know, first like, we're just keeping a tent, but they really embrace it and enjoy it. And they're always really good. We get all the groups telling us like how respectful and nice and everything our kids are, which is always so nice. But yeah, I'm happy to do it. I really like it. It's a place that I love to go to as well, but without kids as well. So
it's an opportunity for hands-on learning in a way different way of hands-on learning. You know, we can do some hands-on learning in a lab and a classroom, but to go through a slog, to go through, and to work along with other scientists and do experiments, you can't top that.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, again, like with kids, you know, a lot of kids love animals, and they don't necessarily see how to put that into practice. You just see, there are these dolphin trainers, or these are people that work at this, you know, marine mammal rescues and stuff like that. So it also opens them up to careers and things like that too. So cool.
Awesome. Anything else?
Just thank you for coming and sharing with us. It's nice. We deal with numbers and all these other things, but that's really why we're here. So,
of course. Yeah, I try to come over here just to familiarize everybody.
So how about this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. 5-0, Randy.
Well, thank you. Now I gotta go book those places.
Make sure you know. Make sure your husband says okay. Okay.
He doesn't have a choice yet.
Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Have a good evening. Financial report from Trustees.
Good evening. You're all familiar with this report now, so I'm spend a lot of time. Operation Fund, as you go through, we projected at the end of the month be $732. We ended up $708, so there is $24,000. A lot of those expenses, as you come across, you'll see that claims were much higher than we anticipated. Yes, because bills are much higher than we anticipated, and it's not going to look any better as we go forward, I'm afraid. So, education fund. Actually, again, last month was a 3-month pay, so I was expecting the variance to be negative, and as you can see, we projected it 203, and we ended up at 203.6, so we're actually in the green by $6,000. So again, for a three-paid month, we did really well. Again, for this year, we have 3 months with 3 pays. So we have no in December, and our last one, I think, is in May. So, and that cycle is about every 9 years. It's normally we're on 26 pays, but because of the way the calendar works, about every 9 years it's a 27th pay. So if we have to backstop the education fund, it'll come out of rainy day. We don't right now anticipate having to do that, but then we'll refill that bucket back up later on in the year on that third day. Okay, a couple of reports I want to go to, and you've already seen some of this in your board packet. The state looks at a number of different factors when they grade our school. So one of the factors they look at is the compensation. So what the state was saying that when you look at your education fund, 62% of that fund was to go to teacher salaries. For 25, 26 fiscal year, that number goes to 65%. So last year, we were at 66.71. So even 24, 25 calendar year, fiscal year, we're above what the new requirements are. So, obviously that's good news. I'll go through these quickly and I'll come back to any questions. The next one is the funding floor. The funding floor is another calculation that basically says if you have more state support coming in this year than last year, then your teacher compensation has to be equal to what you spent the year before. So if our state support education fund went up $1, then you were supposed to make sure that your teacher compensation did not lose ground. So you had to spend at least the same amount this year as last year in teacher compensation. Well, as you can see, our state support dropped between 24 and 25. So it dropped about $60,000, and that is directly related to ADM drop. ADM is your average daily membership. That's how many kids we have actually enrolled in school on count day. We have 2 count days. First one is October 5th, 1st, somewhere in there, and February is the second count day. Each count day, the state calculates how much money you're going to get for the kids that you have enrolled. So you have teacher under contract August 1st for the new school year. You don't know what your funding is for that teacher group until sometime in October. And then you have another count in February, and they change the amount of compensation you're going to get based upon your new student count. So let's say we started last year, we ended up at about 1305. Right now we're sitting somewhere around 1296-ish. And we still have about a month to go before our actual count date. So you base all your teacher hires and non-certified hires on what you had last year, but you're not guaranteed you're going to get that same amount of revenue coming forward. But that being said, since we dropped in revenue from this year compared to last year, the funding floor does not apply to us. So we don't have to worry about maintaining that salary spread, though we are because we're 66.7%.
Yeah. So the funding from the state in 24 per student, did that change?
Yes. That changes every year.
So we have more per student.
More per student, but we have less students. Okay. And the drop in students more than offset the new money that came in. Good question, though. Okay, the next one on this is they also look at our transfers. So this is a transfer from education and operations. They would like you to stay within a 15%. So right now, for the first half of the year, we're 6.74, so well below the 15%, assuming this. And we transfer $75,000 a month from education operations, and that's not I'm sorry, it's $750,000 for the year, and it's $68,000 or something a month transfer. So again, teacher salaries, as far as percent of our education fund, we're over what the state recommends or requires. Well, they recommend now requires for this year already. We don't have to worry about the funding floor, and we're under a lot of allocation of transfer from education operations. So in all measurements, we're good. I guess is bottom line, other than state sports class. Okay, before we get into the budget hearing, I just want to go through a couple things. So, turning to the budget advertisement. You've seen this, it's been advertised, and I start hearing you'll adopt on your October meeting, and give some basic numbers as far as what we're looking for. I just want to go through one quick calculation, just to give you an idea of what Senate Bill 1 that passed is actually going to do to us, not for us, and that's a critical discussion. So, there's a growth quotient that the state says all schools in the state can raise their levy by 4%. So our levy for this year will go up $100,163. So that's all your operation fund can grow from last year to this year. If the state formula says 4%, that's it. If you go back to when Governor Daniels was governor, the state put in this position called property tax caps. So it's 1%, and that went in, passed the legislature, then became part of the Indiana Constitution. What Senate Bill 1 did this year was it extended the caps. So the 1% is no longer 1%. Now, it's not in the Constitution, but it did. We're getting $100,000 new money in operations. We're going to lose an additional $229,000 in levy. So actually, we will lose $128,837 of buying power in our operation fund. Because we go up 4%, but we're losing an additional $229,000 because we already lost $117,000 in the past. So basically, what's for us, the Senate bill was increase the 1% property tax cap 3 times. Okay.
When you say you're saying that those properties are hitting the tax cap, so
No, they exceed the tax cap. So actually, it's over 1% now. That's less than 1%, I'd say, put it that way. Okay. So before, if my property was maxed out tax cap at $1,000, that cap's now basically $700 is what I'm going to pay.
Is that because of your $300 credit?
That hasn't gone into effect yet. That's just how they manipulated the caps. Yeah, that's another 2 years down the road before that gets.
Mustn't change it.
Yeah. Now, so this year, for all intents and purposes, the Senate Bill 1 really impacted residential. In 2 more years, that impact is going to hit business, especially industrial. So you're going to see another decrease in revenue once those caps get hit, or that relief gets hit at business level. And we can't really tell you what that's going to look like yet because nobody's run those calculations out. And also in that time, we'll lose lowers. We'll go up some income tax. So that comes off from schools. And that's to be another $300,000 that just lost revenue. It'll be more than that.
And $2 million personal property tax credit.
Yeah.
Well, we know what the name is. Like, what are we going to do about it? It's all that matters to me.
Well,
I mean,
everybody's doing the same boat. So I was out the other day, actually today. We're still DUAB controlled. We still report to DUAB. And as I told you before, there's no exit. They don't know how you get out from being DUAB controlled.
I was going to ask you tonight if you've heard from them.
So I will tell you within another 2 or 3 years, there's going to be a lot more schools that are DUAB controlled than there are today. Because revenue stream is drying up and your costs are not. You know, I told you before, our personal property is up significantly. We just locked in our gas rates for the next 12 months. Not huge. That's a few $1,000s more. A lot more than a few thousand, but water rates will go up. So all these different add-ins that come out of operation funds are increasing, and your revenue stream going into operations is decreasing. That's going to have an impact because that $300,000 we're going to lose in operations has to be made up because we have commitments. We have those expenses. So right now we're transferring $750,000 from ed to op. That's not to go up $300,000 just to make us even.
Have you calculated that percentage? Is it under 15?
It's under 15. It's going to be about 12.
Okay.
12 or 13. I mean, at some point you're going to hit 15%, but again, the 15% is not a hard fast rule. It's a target. The state has not said you cannot exceed that amount. They just don't want you to. Any questions? I know this is a lot of
Approving the rest of that, or second, is the bias discussion.
Could we please restate the motion?
We're gonna approve the financial report, but I wanted to get a approval before we go into discussion. Thank the rules we follow. Energy. Got a question about that. Any opportunities? Conversion at any of the schools? I mean, that's a big dollar item, right?
You mean straight energy, power, electric? We've done, the last 2 years, we converted all of our incandescent bulbs to LEDs, so that's enough savings. We did that to football fields last year. We're looking at tennis courts this year. Payback on that is about anywhere from a year and a half to 2.5. But as far as, again, we just locked in our natural gas rate for the next 12 months, and we buy that off the grid.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah. So we have the opportunity of going out free. Tony and I talked, we're not. We think that with all the emphasis that the feds are putting on drilling and production, that we may get better rates going out sometime in January, February than we are right now for the future. But our energy costs, we buy 100,000 therms, and total cost is up about $4,700, which is not terrible. Electric, you don't really have much options. You have a supplier, and there's no grid involved.
Energy before these tax credits go away?
We're not, but the problem is we're good. Because we have
Yeah,
energy.
MIS would be the only place I could see that doing something, right? So, yeah, man.
So, okay. Tonight is your budget hearing. Again, when we did the estimate,
Can we, hold on, approval of financial report? 5-0.
sorry, got ahead of myself. So, when we did our budget projections, we used 70% of our current assessed value. And that's because we did not know what Senate Bill 1 was going to do to us yet. So we're very conservative on what we anticipated our revenue stream was going to be, and we exaggerated our cost also. Since we did the advertisement, we have gotten our assessed valuation numbers, and we're up a little over 10% for assessed value. So that's not having a big swing. So instead of being 30% low, we're going to be 10% high, so it's a 40% swing, obviously, if you do the math. So rates will be significantly impacted for tax year 25, payable 26, to the good for taxpayers. And it has nothing to do with Senate Bill 1. That simply has to do with our assessed value growth and some debt that's coming off the table.
Well, don't forget where that money's coming from, right? It's coming right out of my pocket out of the taxpayer, so yeah.
Yep. And if you go back last year, I mean, we were very, with the bond that we did, $3 million bond, we were very cognizant of what that rate's going to be, and we try to maintain that floor. So we actually came in about 2 cents less than what I thought when we actually put it together. And that's going to be rewarded to the taxpayers this year. So it's a significant reduction in their rate.
Yeah, that whole game, like, at some point that assessed value thing, like somebody better run a check on that or something, because I'm about done with it.
Well, and see, that's the problem. And that goes back to when the whole thing of property tax caps went into effect. They dealt, in my opinion, they dealt with the wrong issue. They looked at rates and they looked at levies. What they should have looked at was the evaluation process. And they did it. And we're still dealing with that.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, at some point you can't, you know, that's the old trick, that's the hinge game on rate, is what they did, right? They locked the rate and then just continued to put assessed value on it. You call it market or whatever, but like that's where we're at with these people, these younger people not affording housing and stuff like that.
It's great to have the assessed valuation growth for your property, but you only gain that growth is if you sell.
Magic money is what I call it, right? Magic money.
So, anyway, Mr. President, at this point I would recommend that you open the hearing for your budget, and then once everybody who has a desire to speak does so, you may close.
We'll open the hearing for the budget. Really like to. Any comments? Okay, close the hearing for the budget. Any other questions for me?
I will simply, if you would like to have me pontificate whatever I think about all this, just give me a call out again.
I think we just did a little bit. Again, you gotta remember, like their job's not easy either, you know? Some of this stuff.
No, budget hearing is just a hearing. We don't need an approval.
Consent items, claims. Again, you guys are tough, you know, free takeaways, so they're all in here. You guys are looking at that. Minutes, resignations.
The resignations, we have 4. Lisa Conley, JV volleyball coach, junior senior high. Mr. Tiger, junior senior high. Unified football assistant coach. Craig Briner, junior senior high assistant swim coach. Nikki Briner, junior senior high girls tennis coach. We're going to do them all.
Thank you for your services and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No grants for this month.
Anybody want to do donations? Thank you, Greg.
All right, first up, $500 junior senior high for the cross-country program, construction of the pavilion by EXE Control Global Solution, Alan Robinson, class of 1981. $225 to the junior senior high band program for band shirts from Nordman's Nook. $225 to the junior senior high band program for band shirts from Metzger Landscaping and Design. $75 to the junior senior high cheer program from Billy and Lynn Hutchinson. $225 to the junior senior high band program for band shirts from Timbercrest Church of the Brethren Home Incorporated. $500 to the junior senior high football program from Crossroads Bank. $400 to Manchester Community Schools for the special education programs from an anonymous donor. Total $2,150. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Esposito. Thank you again for the unity. Facility rentals.
No facility rentals for this month.
Okay, motion to approve consent items. Mr. Esposito, second. Mr. Penrod, all in favor? Aye, 5-0. Employment recommendations.
Employment recommendations: Erica Yard, junior senior high assistant junior high musical play director. Leslie Ultimus, junior high musical play director. Matt Webb, junior senior high social studies department chair. Raquel Huddle, color guard, Manchester Junior Senior High. Natasha Nichols, junior senior high United Flag football assistant coach. Stacey Jarrett, MIS paraprofessional. Nancy Johnson, MIS sixth grade volleyball coach. Alex Gable, MIS sixth grade volleyball volunteer.
Billy Backus, junior high girls basketball assistant. Chris Benton, junior high girls basketball assistant. Amber Ramsier, senior high head basketball coach. Maddie Gatchell, still transferred to first shift custodian. Adrian Spengel, guidance support paraprofessional to senior high, and Tyler Baker, junior high football assistant, volunteer, moving from a volunteer coach to a paid DCA position.
Motion to approve. Mr. Lord, thank you. Second. Mr. Tobias. Discussion. Welcome aboard. All in favor? Aye. Department update.
Have nothing to report.
Just so you know, there's stuff down there in top of this. Looks good. They got, I tell you what, man, some really awesome people down there, right?
Well, they do have nothing to report. We can talk about it for the next hour. And all the good things we're going on.
Oh, okay.
Next time around. Next time around.
Okay, legislative update.
Jeff gave that, so I don't really have anything to add. You know, everything that's happening in the legislature.
Well, probably want, you know, yeah, the redistricting.
That's the one that's affecting everybody. Everything legislatively.
Man, superintendent comments?
Yeah, lots of things just to share. Cross country pavilion dedication program was a success a couple of weeks ago. I didn't get a head count, but there were easily 150 to 200 people there. Well attended, several speakers speaking about Coach Metzger and also thanking the community for their tremendous support, not only of the program, but of a tremendous coach who's in the Coaching Hall of Fame. Was a long-time staple in the Manchester community. Obviously, all fall sports are off and running. A lot of teams out there being real successful, a lot of great things happening in football, volleyball, cross country, golf, and tennis. So to get an opportunity to go out in soccer, to get an opportunity to go out and support, that would be great. As I stated in my newsletter to you guys, Dr. Stevens and I are going to a National Superintendent Forum, both leaving on the 12th, which is this Friday, through Tuesday the 16th. We'll be meeting with superintendents from all over the United States. Also meeting with vendors, focusing on areas of AI, of career tech. Dr. Stevens is focusing on security. Security and meeting with the vendors, but then we also have roundtables. You listen to speakers related to different topics impacting education today. And the great thing is the bulk of that is paid for by the vendors who sponsor that conference. So we had a good pre-negotiation meeting. Negotiations for a collective bargaining agreement with teachers can officially begin the 16th of September. I have a public meeting with a representative from the association this Thursday. You have to have a public meeting prior to starting negotiations, and then we will enter into that. Dr. Stevens and I, and we said this morning in pre-negotiations, are committed to trying to position our teachers in the best possible financial position that we can, and I think they understood that from this morning's pre-negotiations. I've got some dates that I'll send out tomorrow morning. I had an opportunity to speak with Dr. Stevens today. I'll send out some dates regarding a future and soon executive session to see what days are available to pull a group together. MIS, you guys know that Dr. Stevens and I shared this at the last board meeting, and I think I shared it in the newsletter, probably footnotes. We did receive initial drawings on a relocation of the office at MIS. We've asked them to contact us for a couple of changes that we'd like to see. And then once we do that, our hope is to start that project mid-year and get the drawings came back. I wasn't sure if there might not be a hole that needed to be put into the wall, but they managed to squeeze in what we were looking for and in an area we're looking for to be in. And so
once we get that final approved, I'll make sure you guys have a copy of that, so we can talk through that. And hopefully we'll have it in my exec session, we can talk about some security and safety stuff, and I'll share those plans with you. Some great news for a couple of our teachers and as representatives of our school district. Gwen Mize and David Zensmeister were recently selected to present at the Indiana Association of School Principals annual conference in November. And they do a senior seminar with all seniors every year. It's a period of days throughout the year that cover a lot of very important things, getting them ready for not only graduation, but past beyond graduation. And I will have them come and present more about senior seminars so you guys can get a grasp on that. But they presented a proposal and got accepted, so it'll be neat that they can impact hopefully other schools and how they address their seniors and get to approach their seniors. So we're excited about that. And then this coming Friday is our first professional development day. And we have a real, what I consider, I think, a unique opportunity. All K-8 teachers and all math and English teachers will be meeting with Lynn Schemmel. She's the Chief Academic Officer from the IDOE. She's bringing 4 other IDOE employees with her. So Lynn, Mary, and Logan, three of the people, will be providing an overview, focusing on iLearn, iReady, iRead, and then 2 will be meeting with ELA teachers, talking about connections to iRead. 1 individual will be meeting with math teachers, including connections to algebra. And we've just asked all our teachers to prepare by locating their iLearn checkpoints framework, their timelines, past checkpoint data, bring their laptop, bring questions. So we actually have invited other districts to come in at the request of the DOE, because to have an opportunity to have 5 DOE knowledgeable people related to those assessments. So I know we have some coming from at least 2 different districts. We reached out to 2 more today, just to share really, I think, that an outstanding opportunity for our teachers to give some answers, to hear some insight from the experts. So that'll be this Friday. I believe it starts at 9 a.m. and it'll last roughly about 2.5 hours. And there are other afternoon things going on in other groups that are not included in that K group. Will have professional development opportunities also, but this is kind of the big, the big ask that we're asking of our teachers at this PD day. So we're excited about that, and that's my comments for the day. Thank you. More comment?
I just wanted to point out, I talked to Randy today, transportation, obviously we're with the town. I know NDOT's going to do their bridge replacement on the east side of town, and so there might be some pattern changes. So we're meeting with NDOT on Thursday to look at how it's going to affect the buses leaving MIS and how parents can do pickup. So it might be a little messy for an extended period of time. So we're looking to kind of come up with a plan.
And what is the projected start date on that? Soon, isn't it?
It's supposed to be October 1, but there's one communication provider that hasn't did anything, and so they're just moving that process along to however they can. But yeah, they're hoping to do that in October, and then they'll likely work on the north side of the bridge first and go down to 1 lane, and there'll be 1 lane probably for a year to 18 months. So we're gonna have to get used to it. And just getting buses out from Merkle Street, I think, is going to be a challenge. So we'll come up with a plan. They're suggesting us to shoot buses out to 300 East, out by Chester Fire Department, back around.
Probably not your best bet, right?
That may be, but we might have at least an initial 6-month window. We don't have to do that, but we're talking to Randy. So Thursday we got a meeting. Okay, to come up with something. That way we know a plan ahead of time before it comes. Hey, they're tearing it down 1 lane, and I'll figure it out.
We can start pushing out that communication, way in advance in preparation, so the parents know too. And
yeah, don't have a bunch of kids that are late to school.
Right.
Or an excuse to be late. I don't know. That's all I got.
Anyone else? Just a couple quick things. Did we get the safety, the situation Nate talked about, cameras, is that taken care of?
We are working on it. I've talked to Tony about it, to get access for our local police department, like more immediate access. There's access, but it's a process. So we are trying to get that rectified.
Motion to adjourn. Mr. Penrod, second. Mr. Estes, all in favor? Aye. 5-0.